Cameroon Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph Dion Ngute has actually attacked Issa Chiroma Bakari and Bello Buba while he was in the Eastern region campaigning for his 92-year-old president Paul Biya. The Prime Minister said people who have left the government, who could not do anything as minister, are now claiming that they will do something when they become president. That is, people who failed as minister. He who live in glass house should not throw stone. Your Excellency Chief Dr. Joseph Dion Ngute, under normal circumstances, you should not make that kind of a statement. Because when you make that kind of a statement, politically, you are shooting yourself on the leg. You are shooting yourself on the leg. Some people will not tell you this. I will tell you. To me, you would have just campaigned and avoid attacking these people, because when you attack them, you have shot yourself or you are shooting yourself on the leg. First, you said people who failed as minister, who could not do anything as minister, are not pretending that they will do something when they become president, right? Now, who is the head of government? It is you who is the head of government. Who are all these ministers under? If Chiroma, Bello Buba, as they were ministers, who were they under? They were under you, Chief Dr. Joseph Dion Ngute, as Prime Minister, head of government. Who is the person that recommends these people to be nominated? Because as Prime Minister, according to your position, if you claim that if they failed to do something, it means that if they were not doing anything, you ought to have fired them. They ought not to have resigned. You ought to have sacked them, dismissed them. You did not fire them. You did not sack them. They resigned. And they resigned faulting your government as you who is head of government. Your government for not doing enough to rescue Cameroonians, to be productive to Cameroonians, to actually serve Cameroonians. In fact, Cameroon is heavily indebted, dear Prime Minister, that the IMF had to warn that if Cameroon wants to start paying its debt, the economy will fall and shrink, and that is what IMF wants. And it did not take long. Your government, your head of government, your government ordered through the President of the Republic, which means that you recommend them, going ahead of government, that they need money to run some services. And your government borrowed 160 something billion. After IMF has won, they still went and borrowed ordered the borrowing of 300 billion. And the last one is 107 billion. So if you accumulate all that, it is around 500 and something billion. You are not saying that people who could not do anything as ministers are promising that they will do something as president of the republic. So who was the prime minister, or who is still the prime minister? Why didn't you sack them if you realize that they could not do something better? It means that you yourself, you are guilty. And that's why I say he who live in glass house should not throw stone. Should not throw stone. Cameroonians are not politically naive that you make statement and they'll just clap for you. Oh, the Premier Minister a parlé, the Premier Minister a parlé. They're not naive. Cameroonians are not politically not aware about reality. They know you are the head of government. They know you are the Prime Minister. Or are you telling us that you two are incompetent? Because that's what you are indirectly saying. Because you could have fired them. Why were they not fired? If for how many years they have been minister, in fact, Minister Chiroma left from the communication, he moved to employment and vocational training. He was not fired. Chiroma was not fired. Bello Buba has been Minister of Leisure Tourism since. He was not fired. These men, in under normal circumstances, would be described as being honorable because they actually resigned from your government and now are faulting your government. And you are claiming that they do not do anything. Why didn't you sack them? Or are you telling us that you two, you are not doing something, or you don't have the powers to sack? You should also sack them. Because yes, I agree with you. They could not create job. Minister Chiroma could not create job in your logic as employment and vocational training. I agree. Major Bayo Buba could not. In fact, our tourism sector is creeping and crawling. It is a shadow of itself. I agree. I agree. But why did you still keep them on the job? Let us keep them aside. Yeah, you said they could not do anything who are failed as ministers. Let us look at your record. Tell us your record. What have you, as Prime Minister, done to resolve, to make sure that your government put a permanent end to the crisis that's rocking the Northwest and Southwest region? Yes, I understand you have gone to Bamenda, you have gone to Boya, you have called on people to drop their arms. Was it not the same you who was in I think in Boya, talking on the fact that there will not be any oil refinery which will be constructed in Kribi, that in fact it's Sonara that is going to be invested and the capacity of Sonara is going to improve and the state is going to improve? What happened? Few weeks later, we were told and we all watched how a foundation stone of an oil refinery that will produce 30,000 barrels of oil a day was launched in Kribi. Let us look at the roads. Let us look at the road to your village. Let's be honest. Let's look at the road to your village. Let's understand that Chiruma has failed. We as Anglophones, let us look at the roads into our villages. Let us start with the Southwest region. Let us look at the road to your village. We see it means that you have succeeded. Your village, road to your village is well tarred. Let us look at the road in Menchum division, in Bamenda. Let us look at the other roads in the Southwest region. He who live in glass houses should not throw stones. Now you are saying that these guys have failed. I agree. But what made them to fail? And if they were actually failing, why did you not sack them? Tell us also your own record. Because if you are telling us that, oh, those two have failed, me as a prime minister, this is what I've done. I'm the head of government, Mr. Prime Minister. When was the last time that the head of state had a meeting with cabinet meeting with all its ministers, which is you are the head of government? To me. And I've been saying that if people want to campaign, they should not attack people. Just say that we are going to do this. We have done this. Let us see the record. We did this and we want to improve on this. As you saw, you are enjoying this service that we created. If you want to enjoy other services like what we did, vote for us. That is politics. Cameroonians are not political. You see, when you see this election, Your Excellency, it is still not late. It is still not late for your party to win the general population and to have 100% on the ballot. It's not late. How is not late? Number one, your party decide to talk on the form of the state. It's no longer an issue. It's no longer something that need not to be. They should talk about it. Let your party understand that decentralization has failed. Let your parties decide that they have to give more powers to the local community. In fact, let your party understand that the governor's position in North and Southwest, for North and Southwest to be considered as a special status, that position needs to be given to the region, to the president of the regional assembly, who now, as we know, is the chief executive officer of the region, to assume that responsibility. Let your party also understand that that house of chiefs must have powers to discuss on traditional issues, on chiefdoms issues, and to solve disputes within chiefdoms, and decide on which village had actually existed or not. That would be power. Let your party also free all arrested in connection of the armed conflict. Call for an inclusive dialogue, including with the separatists. With the moment all those who are in connection with armed conflict are freed, you will see the euphoria on the street. You will see the zeal that mothers in those villages will go and vote for your party. But of course, it will not happen. It will not happen. But I'm giving you a campaign strategy. He who live in glass houses should not throw stone. Because we have a lot of subjects to talk about them, Mr. Prime Minister. When you start attacking ministers, because I never wanted to look at ministers' record. Because we know your hands are tight. We know my hands of ministers are tight. Except you are telling us that the hands of ministers are not tight. Then I don't want to hear one day you come and say that my hands were tight. Because you are not saying that they did not do anything. Remember that today you are Prime Minister. The words you have used, we shall ask you the same things. That you said they could not do. What did you do? When you start wanting to tell us that your hands are tight, we will reference you. I've said my own. I'm just a messenger. Look at the message and not the person.